Hey Rebels, my name is Matthew Barton and I'm the host of the Rebellion Brewing Podcast. Today's guest is Jon Federko. If you don't know him already, I think it's safe to say he's one of the most enthusiastic guys in Saskatchewan's craft beer scene. He's a home brewer and he has an in-depth knowledge and passion for all things beer. Every time we hang out, he's cracking something wacky or well-loved for me to taste, whether it's beers that taste like birthday cake or heavy hitters like Sam Adams' Utopias. We also just like to talk a lot of shit. So let's get into it. Jon, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Matt.
How's it going, bud?
Good, man. How are you?
Deadly.
Yeah, it's going to be a good day.
How's your summer of COVID going?
I think as good as can be expected. Like, it's been definitely different, but definitely more outside, I think, than I probably would have had. But it's been, at least the weather's cooperated. I think that's probably one of the big saving graces. It's actually been really nice out, so you don't feel as cooped up because you can still get outside and have the kids run some energy off and not be stuck in a tiny box with them for days on end.
Until winter comes?
That's right. And then I'm going to send them outside in snowsuits.
Did you do any staycations in Saskatchewan?
Yeah, we went out to our cabin last week of July there. First time in probably 4 years. We actually had decent weather where it wasn't raining for, 2/3 of it. And then it was nice when we leave. So we had good weather for once, so did that for a bit, and then I took another week off a couple weeks ago here and just at home building stuff. Been working on a playhouse for a while and some other stuff around the house that needs to get done, so a little bit of time there, but again, nice weather, so don't mind standing outside for that.
We just got back from Flora Bora,
Right.
which is those yurts in northern Saskatchewan.
Yeah, I saw some of your pictures. They looked fantastic. It looked awesome.
That was all the nicely curated photos.
That's all you need.
You didn't see me like, quit fighting in the back seat or I'll pull the car over.
That happens. I definitely get that.
It came full circle. I became my father.
There you go.
I was like, there's an invisible line. Don't cross it or I'm going to whoop your ass.
You didn't have to throw the clothing blockade up in between them after a while.
There was not a clothing blockade, but we had a paddleboard folded up and rolled in between them. And they still managed to fight in the backseat.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, they're close enough in age, that's the thing.
Do you have a rule for going to the beach, how much beer you bring, or do you just bring whatever?
No. So, we were close enough to town. We're near Foam Lake. So the liquor store in town there, if you guys have ever been up there, Willie's Tavern, they got the liquor store in town there. Their selection of craft beer is unreal. It rivals Sobeys, I would say, especially for local stuff. I went in there 3 times at least to go pick up more stuff. I probably took like 16 or so out with me, and that wasn't enough. Through that in a couple of days. So I try to, give myself a good buffer to start with, but, it's only a 20-minute drive into towns or a 10-minute drive in, so it's not the end of the world to have to go pick some more supplies up.
I thought I would have enough, and I completely overbought.
Oh, did you?
Because everybody else was kind of feeling like wine.
I
don't know. It was a little rainy.
Yeah, it's cooler.
But I had a bunch of beach life, and I was just digging it.
Yeah.
I didn't care if it was raining. That's what I wanted.
It's a good beer. I get it. It's one of the few Kolsch's actually I enjoy that I've had. Never been a big Kolsch drinker. I do like the beach life for sure.
Did I tell you on Untapped we're #1 in Canada now?
I saw that. That's
Have
awesome.
A little brag session about it.
Yeah, no doubt. Are you the #1 check-in for it too then?
I might be.
Yeah.
Maybe
on top of your stout too.
No one I think it will ever pass me on the stout.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think I'm way too far ahead.
I think I got the IPA one locked down pretty good too.
No one's gonna pass you on IPA.
No. It's not like I'm gonna stop drinking it either. I think I had one before I came here too. So
nice.
Yeah, a little yard work.
What about the hazy or the Golden Crush? You're pretty high up there.
I like the Golden Crush. I don't think I haven't had nearly as much hazy, but I also IPA and Golden Crush have been around a lot longer. So, and I definitely gravitate to the Zilla a lot more. I do like the hazy. I do like the Golden Crush. Just like the hot punch you get out of the Zilla is just right. It's right in the balance of everything I want. So that's usually where I end up.
It's a beer that's we never advertise it. We rarely talk about it, and it just moves. We sell so much of it.
It's good though.
Like people who dig it, dig it.
Yeah, when it's like it's one of those IPAs too that's very approachable as far as like IPA goes, because you have that kind of that balance now where you've got the hazies and the golden crushes and like those really juicy New England style ones, and then you've got this other end of the spectrum where it's so like almost cloyingly overly bitter, where like it's just like this weird, it's almost comes off alcoholic, like it almost comes off as like a 10%, but it's just this in heavily hopped bitter beer that doesn't always hit the palate the way you want it to. And I think the Zilla has really struck that kind of nice middle ground between the juiciness and then it's still got that kind of nice bitterness end on it, which is good.
Deadly. You would understand that beer much more than I have. I would say you've studied it.
Yeah, I know when it changes for sure. Can to can, I can tell the hops have been switched for sure. I definitely notice it, but that comes with having umpteen hundreds of them.
And it's not the same beer that it was 6 months ago.
Definitely not.
To a year ago.
No, definitely not. And I mean, I still love it. So nothing has changed for the worse. That's for sure. Probably getting just better. More refined, more on point for. And I mean, if you're saying it's selling good, that's awesome. So
I know I was like a fly on the wall, and Zal and Vanessa were talking with Mark, and they were talking about the new crop of hops that are coming because we're entering right into harvest season for hops.
Yeah, that's right.
So it kind of is a great time to really get a sense of those fresh hops which are about to hit the market.
Yeah.
Like if you care about hops, if you're an IPA guy, the fall is like your time to shine.
Yeah, I've got some growing in my yard, and I'm kind of, checking it every other day because I'm notorious for checking it and then forgetting about it for a while and then checking it and it's too late and now I don't want them anymore. They're gross to brew with. So I've been on top of them this year and they're definitely coming. It's going to be a good year for them.
What are you growing?
I got Centennial. So my plant is 6 years old now. I bought it. I put it in when I moved into my house and it's taken on a good chunk of my garden.
What do you typically brew with Centennial? IPAs?
Yeah, or pale ales. Use it. It's a kind of a universal hop. Like I know, like Blackbird used to have the Centennial rye, which they used a fair bit of Centennial in it at one point. I don't know if that was still the same on that last batch they had out, but it's kind of that dual purpose hop. You get a little bit of bitterness out of it, a little bit of aromatic notes out of it too. It's kind of a nice hop too. It smells really nice. You can tell when it's ready to go. It's got a lot of smell to it. So
do you get like that sticky, tacky?
Yeah,
you're just like, this is it.
Yeah, well, and you can pick one off and you kind of do the herbal, crush it in your hand, and hit it like slap it like basil kind of thing, and it definitely has that smell. You can get that aroma out of it too. It's kind of nice.
What were your kind of big summer bangers for beer? Like, what were you chasing this summer?
Well, obviously besides the Zilla, which doesn't seem to really leave my fridge unless it's between 4-packs. I don't know. It was a lot of juicy stuff. White IPA from Pile of Bones was in my fridge quite frequently. I had the Golden Crush a couple times. The cucumber jasmine. Really, really enjoyed that one for sure. It was good. It was different.
Which is like the opposite of hoppy.
Oh, totally. But I had a cucumber beer from Steamworks. They make that killer cucumber. And I hadn't had a cucumber beer in years, and I loved that one when I found it. Like, it must have been 3-4 years ago. And this one's kind of on par with that. It's got a little more of that floralness to it, so kind of nice. I'm trying to think what else. There was a bunch of stuff that, like, a lot of the sours that have been coming out have been really good. I mean, Multinational likes to put out a bunch of crazy stuff, and their pale ales and their IPAs always, their juicy IPAs and stuff always hit home with me. I'm definitely not impartial to having something that looks like Five Alive in my glass, so, and tastes pretty close to it. So I'm a big, I don't know. It really depends. There's been a lot of cool stuff, lots of different things. My sister's in town too. She brought some stuff from Toronto for me, so I've been getting to try out some stuff from Toronto area, which has been neat. And
anyone of note?
I had one from Left Field Brewing. She brought me some stuff from Collective Arts, which we can get here, but she didn't know that. But they were still good, so that's fine. I'm trying to think what else she sent me. She actually sent me a box of stuff too a little while ago, and it's a lot of different stuff. I still got a bunch I haven't cracked through yet, but they've been interesting to say so far.
Now that it's September, what are you looking for this fall? What do you think you're going to be chasing?
I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, I know we've got a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff, good stuff coming out. A lot of people bring seasonal. I mean, Cats is back. Is Cats officially out? I know I've seen
Cats
pictures.
is officially back.
Is it? Okay. I remember seeing people checking it in, saying it's back, and that kind of stuff. So that's that one's always a favorite. I mean, I'll have one once in a while, but some of those darker beers start hitting those, like the Americano stouts, the coffee beers, a little bit of the darker stuff, but again, hoppy stuff in there too all day. Doesn't all year round, doesn't matter. It's always been kind of my go-to. Even the stuff I brew at home, that's usually what I kind of stock up on for myself.
Well, do you want to get into one of our new fall seasonal beers? It's called Rhubarb Crisp. Here, you crack her open.
Pouring this like I'm splitting it in pint glasses. You don't have to be so delicate.
So this one is more of a dessert beer. It's designed to be tart and creamy. It's a sour, but not aggressively sour.
Yeah.
And we were kind of talking about how do you make a fruit beer and actually represent the flavors of what you put into it. So let's give her a shot. Cheers. You think it's crisp?
Get that like the crisp of the rhubarb, like the cinnamon, that vanilla kicks through there. Rhubarb's is pretty subtle. Like, it's there. You can get the tanginess from it. I wouldn't even call that a sour. I'd definitely call that a fruit beer. Or dessert beer is probably the right word. It's good, though. It's really good.
I think when it warms up a degree or two, it actually showcases the rhubarb a bit more. And it sings a bit more. But yeah, that first sip is just like, bang, spices.
Spices and vanilla. It's good, though. Like, that's really, really nice.
5.5% ABV.
I wouldn't even know.
Be dangerous. You could suck it back pretty quick.
Drinks like apple juice.
Apple juice?
Yeah. Just easy, smooth. That's really nice. That's very nice. Another tip of the cap to the brew team.
I think this one is Vanessa's baby.
I'm not surprised. Not surprised. She's got a real knack for those fruit and spice beers, which are, a very, very hard style to really nail down. She's got a real knack for that kind of stuff, which is, I've always definitely appreciated.
One of the things that I learned from you early on, years ago, was be dedicated to sanitation and cleanliness, because 1,000,001 things can go wrong, from setting your spoon down on the wrong surface and forgetting to sani it, stirring something, accidentally touching something. Just any infection could possibly happen along the way. And you were just very militant about making sure everything was clean. And then when Vanessa talks about this beer, she was like, oh man, 1,000,000 friggin' things could go wrong. You've got to be so on point, because fruit can just bite you. And so I always think back to what you told me the first time we were kind of brewing in the garage there. Yeah. Keep it sanitized, keep it clean.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, for sure. I'm so much lazier now. I'm good when I'm brewing, but like getting it to that, like after I'm done brewing, it takes me a day or two to get around to like pulling everything back apart and cleaning it properly. It's just, I don't want to do this right now. Especially in like the late, like early spring where it's still cool out. My hose isn't turned on yet. So I'm outside in the garage. It's -10. And I don't want to drag that shit in the house. And especially with propane, my pots get all charred. So the char gets on everything. And you can't just wipe it. It smears. Mr. Clean Magic Erasers to the rescue. That's the only thing that gets it off the tub after. Callie's never happy with me afterwards either, so.
One of the things I also recall is you and I will wear shorts till it gets very, very cold.
Yeah, even still after that too, right?
Like it's snow on the ground.
It's just quick in between. You throw your shoes on, who cares? They shovel the parking lot. It's fine. It's just Walmart.
How cold will you wear your shorts to?
I don't know. It depends, I guess. It depends if the wind's blowing. If it's -30 out, but it's kind of calm, it's just cold out, like I'd still wear them. It's not going to stop me. If I'm already wearing them, I'm literally going to run to the grocery store down the street because I need like 6 things. I'm probably not going to change. I'll just wear my shorts and be done with it. If the wind is howling, yeah, I'd probably maybe rethink my stance a little bit, but it doesn't stop me from running outside with, t-shirt and shorts, or just t-shirt and sweatpants even, but shorts all the time for sure.
I think I could probably comfortably push it to about -20.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably pretty fair.
But I'm like a Wookiee. Like, I can handle a little bit of breeze.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess women, like, if you shaved your legs, the wind's just going to take it.
Yeah.
Take that heat.
Yeah.
The hair kind of holds in like a little microclimate.
Yeah.
The one upside to being a big, hairy dude.
That's true. You're warm. It's also the opposite of that, too, is like in the summertime, you're hot all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
I have to wear pants because I have to model the behavior for my kids.
Yeah.
Like, I would be comfortable going out in snow to work. I'm not working outside. I'm working in an office. It's too hot because the girls are all freezing, so they want to crank the heat. So I'm sitting here sweating my bag off, and then the kids are like, no, we want to wear shorts like dad. And my wife's like, no, you dummies. You got to wear pants because you're going to have recess. You're going to have this and that. It would be irresponsible of us to send you to school in shorts.
Yeah. You almost need to have a pair of like work shorts. Just keep them in your desk drawer. Come in, just change for the day.
I'll cut a hole in this wall, and I'll just have like a little fold out like wardrobe.
Yeah, there you go.
This year, I kind of think that the hot beers were actually not beer. It was low cal, like White Claw and Pink Whitney styled beers.
Yeah.
Beers that kind of chase that.
Seltzer style stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we saw breweries kind of chase that after the haze craze kind of died down.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think's going to be 2021's style? I mean, we're going to the apocalypse. It's coming slowly.
That's fair. So, I mean, if you're going apocalypse, maybe we're going high ABV. Stuff that's going to hold out, that's going to age well. If you're stuck down in a bunker for a while. Maybe some fruit beers, some sours, get a taste of what can't grow anymore. I guess it depends on the apocalypse here, but yeah, I don't know. I can see that sour crowd kind of coming back. The stuff like you guys have been putting out, like the raspberries and that kind of thing, and having maybe more of that happening. Maybe more universally. Like I know Warehouse has one right now. They got their apricot sour that's out. I'm trying to think if Pile Bones always has that their hibiscus goes on. So I think it's gonna be more of that citrusy style stuff. Maybe coming into try bright outlook on life to see if you try to look through the dimness of it all. Otherwise, I don't know. Maybe it's gonna be hot bombs. Maybe IPAs will make a comeback, rally the cause again.
IPA never went away.
Not really, but I don't think they're as popular as like when Rebellion opened up. Like there wasn't really anything out there. Like we had Bushwhackers, we had Brewsters. That was it. So there wasn't like if you got IPAs, you're buying them from you're getting the 606 from Paddockwood, and a lot of that stuff was they're very hoppy. Like I mean, for the most part, like you get something like the Chico or whatever, they were very very hop forward, very strong tasting. But now it's more into that balance, more into that juiciness, more into like there's a more of a range. There's more of them. There's more styles of them, more types. There's more of a broad spectrum from the over heavy hop stuff like a triple double IPAs, all that kind of stuff, down to your New Englands and your kind of juicier style stuff. So maybe they'll come back up to the forefront again, but I don't know.
Hazy's been big. Like our Golden Crush, we don't tell anyone. Mm-hmm. It's basically the hazy recipe, but it's like Hazy's little brother. And now Hazy's back, and Golden Crush is saying bye-bye for summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, if you're a Golden Crush fan, rush out and get it now if you want to keep it for a little while.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I'll probably wander down and grab some before I leave then. Load up a little bit.
And then we had the Solo Crush's new version, Simcoe, come out. But it went so fast, I couldn't even get my hands on it.
Super good. It was super good. I had it, I think me and the guys met up. I think the weekend it came out. We were actually at the brewery that day, sitting on the patio. And that was one of the ones I partook of. I think it was probably my favorite of the three that's been out so far. personally, but I mean, Simcoe's a nice hop, and it was more of a hazy style beer too, very much so. Or the other ones were a little cleaner.
It's doing its thing.
Yeah, being awesome, you know.
So what's next for John?
I don't know. Hopefully this pandemic winds down a little bit and I can get back into being around the brewery other than just drinking at it, which would be nice. I definitely miss the social aspect of doing tours with people. It was always lots of fun. I always looked forward to that break on the weekend to go, break up my week of sitting at my desk or whatever and doing that kind of thing at my usual job. So, I don't know, working away, keep going.
You were really big on that beer education kind of piece for Rebellion. Like you'd lead a tour, you're on the poster, it's your hand pointing to the brewery.
Yeah.
What would your focus on the tour be?
And I don't know if you guys ever get feedback on my tours because I don't hear anything. I've never been told they suck, so I must be doing okay. I don't know. I've always kind of just done it how I've always done it. I like to come off as very just like loud, high energy, like engaging. I want people to be able to like go, dude, that's totally wrong. That is not how that works at all. Or hey, you're saying like this brewery's from this place, but really it's not from there at all. Like you're totally like in the wrong part of the freaking US. Like you're on the other coast. I want people to feel like they could literally just call me out on anything or interject whenever they want or like just be involved. Like this tour, and I try to stress that every time I did one, like this tour is as fun as you make it. If you guys are just going to come in here and just listen to me talk, like we're going to be done in 10 minutes and you probably won't even get through that taster glass unless you're a fast drinker like I am. Or you get these tours where, and sometimes it happens, like I've had tours of 20 people that I was in and out in 10 minutes. I had one question asked near that middle part, kind of by the canning line. That was it. We were out. I've had tours of 3 people that we were in there for an hour and a half because they're just like, oh my God, what is this? Oh, hey, I went on this tour and they had this thing. You're like, do you guys have something similar? And like, they're really engaged. They're into it. And the more into it the people I'm with are into it, the more I'm going to be excited and we're going to have more fun. And I mean, I think that I come off pretty approachable as far as doing them. And I've been on tours before where it's like you go in there and it's like you may as well just walk through it and have signs posted like, give me a headset, a cassette recorder and a headset. This is going to be a museum tour. I'll just wander through and just look at stuff and stare at it for a while and see if I can't piece this together on my own. Where it's just, it's not enjoyable. Like I could go and watch a video and talk and do the same tour. Or, you can go and I did a tour with, a couple of years ago at Green Flash Brewing down in California. And the guy giving the tour was just like, super loud and excited, and he was like really pumped about what they were producing and about like some of the history, because I mean Green Flash has been around quite a while. They've got a pretty good history of things that have happened, and they got lots of cool stuff, and he was very into it. And that makes you like you're more engaged. You want to listen, you want to participate, because they don't come off as like talking down to you. They want you to be a part of it, and they're trying to engage you further. And I've always tried to really propel that. But I mean, really at the same time, if someone comes on a tour and if they're expecting a certain type of tour, it's really easy to steer me into doing to answering whatever you want. I'll if I'm coming off a little too crazy, you can usually tell if people aren't really into it, and those people will sit kind of by the back and they'll talk to each other and whatever. But I don't know, I was just trying to make it as engaging, as fun as possible and entertaining. Like I'm not above making fun of myself or somebody taking a shot at me. Like I don't care. Whatever it takes for everyone to enjoy themselves, and maybe come out with a little bit of base knowledge on top of it too, not just so like here's the fermenter, here's the mash tun, like this is this. Step it down to someone who's never read a book, who's literally like, I really like beer, I really don't have any clue what this is, and I just try to play it like they've never heard it before and talk in terms that make sense, and then just have fun with it for sure.
I often like to dip my toes in and say, who's done a brewery tour before? And I'm not as technical as, say, a brewer might be.
Yeah, I would say.
So I'm more focused on like the story of Rebellion, the history. Like I tell the story often of Rebellion was one of the names we wrote down on my kitchen table. We were making a list of brewery names, and it was like number 3 on my list. And then everybody always goes, well, what was number 2 and number 1? And I'm like, I don't even remember.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Like it doesn't. Like I was so excited for those 3 names, and then when we picked Rebellion, I was just like, perfect.
There you go.
Let's go. It's lost to history. Like I should have saved that sheet.
Yeah.
Like a dummy, I didn't. You know, we could hang that up on the wall. Matt's like scribbles of what our names could have been. Never did it.
Yeah, whatever. The time you never know what's going to happen, right? It was just spitballing at that point.
And then I kind of I tell people maybe if they're a little nerdier, a little dorkier, kind of like me, I will tell them how we picked a brand avatar, and they're like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Well, you're not talking to Matt on social media. You're not talking to Mark. You're talking to the brand." And of course, we'll like tag our names in there to be accountable for the stupid things we're posting.
Yeah.
But I said, we need to have somebody who kind of represents an idea that everybody can plug into. So if I get hit by a Mack truck tomorrow, John can come in and know exactly what I was thinking or know exactly the tone. And we picked Rosie the Riveter. And when I tell that story on the tour, people go, oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
And you see their eyes light up in the flat. I can't get into like yeast attenuation and krausening and all that kind of technical stuff because I'd be talking out my butt.
Yeah, me too.
And it wouldn't be fair to them.
No, for sure.
But if I could tell them my perspective, they seem to get much more excited.
Yeah.
And I feel it's a better value for your time.
Absolutely, if you're doing it. And I mean, you know what? Every tour is different. You do one with you, me, Mark, Jen. Like, everyone does the tour differently. And you know what? You may come out, like you said, you're going to come out like someone like you might be more history focused. I'm going to be like brewing for beginners. Mark and Vanessa may be more like technical, or they'll be at least able to answer the very technical questions, I would think. Vanessa for sure anyways. Maybe Mark hasn't done it in a while. Maybe he's a little rustier, but I mean, he'd be more inclined to be able to answer that kind of stuff. But in doing that, you come off definitely more genuine too. Those tours they're definitely more fun when you come off as being engaged as well, whether it's because you're doing it the way you just do it, or that's just how you are. But yeah, and but it still plays into that brand role, right? Everyone we all do it the way I think Rebellion is kind of shown, like how we are, and I think that helps a lot too, because but 4 different tours isn't a bad thing too. You may seem the same space, but have seen 4 different ways is never a bad thing either.
I've never heard a complaint about a Jon Federko tour.
Well, that's good. I haven't been talked to by anybody about it either, so I assumed I was doing
it. I think you're doing a great job.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And I'm always excited to see you when you're in the tap room. I'm like, hey, it's my buddy.
Likewise. Yeah, like the one time we crossed paths.
Yeah. Well, I feel like because of COVID ruining everything, I just haven't seen anyone.
Yeah, that's fair.
Outside of like the Rebellion crew and my immediate family, I haven't really seen anyone.
That's fair. I can't say the same. Me and the guys were doing Zoom calls, or I don't know. No, Skype. We were using Skype because Zoom wasn't working. We were having problems with it, but we were doing every Saturday. Me and the guys were having like a Saturday pub day at like 2:00. We'd all get online and shoot the shit with each other for a couple hours or whatever the case may be. And then once it kind of lessened a little bit and the tap room started kind of opening up and patios were available, like we started meeting up a little, every other week or whatever. We actually got together 2 weeks ago at one of our buddies' places and did a brew day and barbecue that we'd been planning since like COVID got real bad there for a while. So we brewed a beer and smoked some meat and hung out for a couple hours and tried a bunch of random stuff. I think I came home with like 15 new check-ins on my Untapped, which was cool. Stuff I've never had, which is great. So, and then you just get that shared camaraderie, set the chairs a little bit apart, and away you go.
I love seeing the good old boys in the parking lots in the lawn chairs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they found their way to make it work. Still, like, especially keep themselves protected, because some of those guys are definitely older for sure. So that's good though. It's nice to see the workarounds people are coming up with to be able to hang out. It's kind of like that the 2 neighbors with the flip down fence.
Yeah.
Whatever works. Whatever gives you the social aspect, that's awesome, because it's definitely needed, especially during this. It's hard to keep your sanity if you're it's great to see family, but you still need that outside break too. So being able to come to Rebellion once in a while, even honestly, my office, like when I was working from home, it was definitely different. My office is like up hanging out with my buddies. They were all pretty close. I got a couple guys that we go out for beers once in a while, and you know, we would go out every long weekend last year. We'd go out every long weekend Friday. We'd be out for a beer before everyone went out. So it's always kind of nice. But
it was great talking to you, man.
You too, buddy. It's been too long.
Thanks for your time today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Rebels. Thanks for listening today. If you have any questions or comments about this episode, or you just want to tell us what temperature you wear your shorts until, be sure to join us on our brand new Facebook group page, the Rebellion Brewing Podcast. Just go on Facebook, type in Rebellion Brewing Podcast in the search bar, and hit enter. Super easy to find us. The Sask craft beer scene is always changing, but I'm going to keep doing my best to feature all the new local beers coming out. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Untappd, so you don't miss out on a single thing. Thank you for joining the Rebellion.